Hey guys, so the first weekend of the Third Edict patch is about to wrap up, and oh my gosh, was it amazing. I did a 17.5-hour stream on the launch day, and it was so great to see all y'all coming in, visiting the stream, hanging out, and having fun. At this point, I'm well into mapping with my Hollow Paw Monk, and I just want to talk a little bit about my favorite things so far about the Third Edict patch, because in my book, it's definitely been a 9 out of 10 update so far. But before we dive into that, I did want to acknowledge that there have definitely been a ton of bugs in this patch. But given that it is an early access and also we had so many updates this patch, I'm actually a little bit surprised that there aren't more bugs. And my god, the Abyss monsters in this update are insane. Both the Abyss monsters and all the Abyss effects are absolutely just like crazy. But honestly, let's not forget about how Abyss was when it first released in Path of Exile 1. In fact, here's a couple clips from the original Path of Exile 1 Abyss League from like a highlight channel that I'll link in the description below.
Those guys are the worst. Alright, let's blow this guy up. Go. Whoa!
Oh! Ha, ha, ha. Because I was just sitting there during the abyss, and then suddenly I was just like,
I couldn't move, man.
Ah, makuha. Oh.
Right.
So yeah, the Abyss League originally in Path of Exile 1 was also absolutely insane. So all I can say is that hopefully with GGG back in the office, they'll hopefully fix up a bunch of these bugs and patch out a lot of these absolutely OP and crazy Abyss monsters because, oh my gosh, have I died so many times. But with that out of the way, let's start talking about my favorite parts of the Third Edict update. So first things first, it has to be Act 4. Act 4 has been absolutely amazing, and you guys seem to enjoy it as much as I did. While at times it definitely has been feeling a little bit long, I would say that given its kind of island nature and that you get to go from island to island with a lot of different biomes and monsters and bosses, it really doesn't feel that much like a big act, but rather a bunch of little mini acts with their own little biomes and zones and boss fights. But speaking of boss fights, oh my gosh, that has to be my favorite part about this update because in Act 4 and in the interlude, there have been so many amazing boss fights. I think back right now, like Asmati, that the Prince guy in Act 2, that was a crazy fight. And I think I fought him after the first nerf, but still, I think he got nerfed again afterwards. But that really reminded me a lot of like a raid fight rather than like an ARPG fight, which is very interesting, right? Normally you expect to go into the boss and just like absolutely mow him down, but maybe it was because I was playing Hollow Palm and I was very squishy. I really had to like pay attention to his attack patterns and really respect his attacks. Like if I didn't respect it, I just got one shot. So how I did it was I just ended up dodging all his attacks until he had some really big attack window openings. And then after that, I just went in and did all my DPS and did a burst. Kind of felt like an MMO fight in a way, right? You got to wait for the boss to do their mechanics and attacks. Then they have like a DPS opening and then all the DPS classes just go and start wailing on the boss. That's how it felt to me. And that was an extremely fun fight. But beyond that, there was also, a little bit of fan service, let's just say. And, maybe that also enhanced the Act 4 experience as well. Oh, shit. Oh, my. Wow. What is going on here? Oh, wait. Oh, I'm getting fucked. Wait a second. Now, the second thing I definitely have to highlight is definitely sprinting. I know that sprinting is a little bit hit and miss for some people, but for me, I don't know. When I was talking to Cal, he was saying how much he liked it, and I was like, yes, it really feels like sprinting was made for Path of Exile 2. Like, before sprinting came out, I was a non-believer. I didn't believe in it. I thought it was just going to be a little Band-Aid fix, but seeing it in the game right now, I actually can't see the game without the sprint anymore. Like, it has become such a core part of my movement, and it just feels really intentional. Like, I know we talk about like intentional combat and stuff like that, but like sprinting really feels like like it was a should have been a part of the game since day one, because there is a lot of weight to it, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I think that really fits the Path of Exile 2 kind of play style and feel of everything. Like you press the button and you start sprinting, and then when you stop, you have this period where you're like a little bit slower. You know, it's you gotta have to like attack out of it. Some of you guys might call it like, I don't know, clunky, but I don't think it's necessarily clunky. I think it was designed to be that way to really fit with the feel of the game, and I think it really does that. It increases our speed when we need it, and then when we're in combat, we don't use it. Like, it really has enhanced my enjoyment of the game so much that, again, I just can't see the game without it. And then there's also trade, right? They completely rehauled the trade system, and the fact that we have like auction house type of situation now. It's not exactly an auction house, but like similar. It's so amazing. Asynchronous trading is definitely one of my favorite parts, and again, another thing that I can't see the game living without, and I really hope that the PoE 1 players get that function soon too, because it is game changing. The best thing is like going and like playing a map or whatever, maybe it's like logging off and logging back on, but seeing that little like text pop up on the bottom right saying like, hey, you sold an item. That is like an extra level of dopamine that I just never expected. Like, yeah, you know, people sending you whispers and whatever for an expensive item is great, but for some reason, just having that little like text pop up on the bottom right, it just absolutely gets my dopamine receptors firing at all cylinders. I absolutely love it. And then next, there's crafting. While it's definitely not Path of Exile 1 crafting, I actually don't know if we do want it to be that deterministic. I think that the crafting options have opened up so much, especially with the different tiers of crafting materials. I find myself picking up like white items and blue items and trying to slam them with like the perfect augments, perfect transmutes, and just crafting on my own for once. And then I throw in an essence in there, and then there's also the abyss crafting that I tried a little bit as well. Like, it's actually crazy how much the crafting has changed from last league to this league. Now, I do have to say that, you know, last league it was pretty much just a complete gamble and a, you know, slot machine, and this league there is a little bit more determinism, but I mean, it's not that much more than what it was before, but yet it still feels so much better. I don't know if I hope like they add a lot more of this stuff in the future. Like, I think that it is in a great spot right now, though maybe there could be a little bit more, but I do not want it to be like Path of Exile 1. I think that we are in a pretty good spot right now. We probably could push it a little bit further, but oh my gosh, it really is a night and day difference, which is crazy compared to last league, because I actually feel motivated to craft things and have a feeling like, hey, if I slam these items onto this item, I might actually get something good. And I've definitely crafted some good items in this league already. And then lastly, while we're talking about crafting and Abyss stuff, I actually, despite how crazy the Abyss mobs are and how buggy the Abyss maps are, I do think the Abyss League is really good. Like, I actually think that the current Abyss that we have in Path of Exile 2 is leagues better than the Abyss that we have in Path of Exile 1. And I'm saying that as a person who did enjoy the Abyss mechanic in Path of Exile 1. So they definitely knocked it out of the park there. Of course, it's going to need a little bit of tweaking. Like, some things are really hard to see. Some mob attacks just go too crazy. And there's like stuff that's like a lot of damage over time stuff on the ground that's really annoying. But like the concept itself and like the visuals and everything, it's just, I don't know. Something about it just gets me excited. Maybe it's because it's the first league that we've actually had with new like mechanics and stuff like that. And like last league was like Wisps and Rogue Exiles, which were like a huge disappointment in my opinion. But this league with the Abyss League has absolutely knocked it out of the park by adding things that I think everybody wanted, right? So first off, it's like more drops. Abyss League adds more mobs, which means more drops, but also the troves at the end of them. In my experience in the campaign, they dropped a lot of items and currency. Now, in the end game, some of that currency is not as important, but during the campaign, it definitely made it seem like there was a huge buff to the drop rate, even beyond what they did in patch 0.1, to a point where I felt like, hey, I can actually craft these items and potentially get something good again, which again goes back to crafting. But also beyond that, I think that in mapping, having more density is another thing that people always want, right? So it really adds a lot of things that players want into the game, and it's really fun as a result. So Abyss League, I really do hope that it stays core after they fix some of those issues. But yeah, those are some of my favorite things about the new league. Of course, there are a ton more things, right? Like Hollow Palm, for example. I am absolutely loving this playstyle and all the different new skills that they've added. I just have so many ideas for like different builds and things that I want to do. It's just so exciting to be a Path of Exile 2 player right now that it really does feel like Christmas. And it's like I never want to stop playing and I like don't want to go to sleep. So that's like a testament to how great the game is right now and how great the league is. And I think that if you are hesitating to like play, well, I guess the free weekend's over, but you know, you can still buy into the early access and play, because right now I think it is the best time to play Path of Exile 2. And I hope you guys can try it out. And for those who have played, I hope you guys agree. So yeah, that's about it for this video. And for all of you guys who stayed until the end, thank you so much. And to that, I will have to say that this video was really made in order to kind of, I guess, fuel some positivity around the league. Because while I know there are a lot of people who are very positive, I feel like right now there are a lot of really loud voices that are kind of talking down on the league, which I think is ridiculous, because I think that this league is amazing. Path of Exile 2 is amazing. While it's not there yet, I still think Path of Exile 1 is a better ARPG. I enjoy Path of Exile 2 way more, even in its current state, and I can only see the game going upwards and in a different, like in a good trajectory. So yeah, we need a little bit of positive in the community sometimes, and when it gets a little bit too negative, it's just not good for the game or for like new players who are like looking to play the game, especially during like the free weekend when there are a lot of new faces trying to see like what's going on. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new league down in the comment section below. Do you guys enjoy it? Are there things that you want to be improved? Let me know. And as per usual, if you enjoyed this video, please, the sub button is the best way to support the channel, and let me know you like these types of videos, and I'll make more of them. So yeah, I stream every single night as well on twitch.tv/musicshiro. So hopefully I see you guys there. But if not, hopefully I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, guys. Peace.